Hello, everybody. My name is Graham Elwood, and you are watching The Political Vigilante. So, this just happened earlier today. The U.S. charges WikiLeaks with Assange hacking, blah, blah, blah. We knew about that, but Julian Assange just got arrested. The Ecuadorian embassy let British police come in. They were there on the behalf of the United States government. And they have arrested him, and they're going to, not sure whether he's being extradited or not to the United States. By the time you watch this, who knows what has changed, but this is what we know as of about 2:33 p.m. Pacific time on Thursday, April 11th. And it was triggered in part by the WikiLeaks 2010 publication of hundreds of thousands of U.S. I saw this on, this is like the AP official deep state talking point thing. WikiLeaks 2010 publication of hundreds of thousands of U.S. military reports about the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq and American diplomatic communications, a disclosure that embarrassed Washington and caused strained relations with its allies. What they are charging him with is that he colluded with Chelsea Manning to hack the American military computers. So he encouraged her to do this, so therefore they can accuse him of hacking. Not just, oh, I got this information. That's why Chelsea Manning, March 8th, went back to jail. Her sentence, well, she had a 35-year sentence in prison that Obama commuted. So she only had to serve 7 of her 35 years. So what a commuted sentence means is they can put her back in jail if they want to. So here's what Chelsea Manning, who when this originally happened, she was a man, Bradley Manning, who was an intelligence officer and went through, switched her gender while in prison, is my understanding. Manning was convicted by court-martial in 2013 of espionage and other offenses for furnishing more than 700,000 documents, videos, diplomatic cables, and battlefield accounts to WikiLeaks while she was an intelligence analyst in Iraq. Obama commuted that sentence. So this is what they're trying to say. Information was given to him, and he put it online. The number of times WikiLeaks, so he didn't hack the computers. Chelsea Manning got the information and leaked it, gave it. She was a whistleblower, doing the right thing because she was witnessing war crimes. Right? Here's some of the stuff that we're talking about. So this is from Jeremy Corbyn's Twitter page. It's showing some of it, but this is what Jeremy Corbyn, how he's responding to this, and I can't seem to embed this footage, so we have to watch it this way. But this, you'll remember. So this is Jeremy Corbyn. The extradition of Julian Assange to the U.S. for exposing evidence of atrocities in Iraq and Afghanistan should be opposed by the British government. The British government is letting this happen. Ecuador is letting this happen because the U.S. leans on them.
And we should recall what WikiLeaks actually disclosed. Who can forget the Pentagon video footage of a missile attack in 2007 in Iraq, which killed 18 civilians and 2 Reuters journalists? It is the monumental amount of leaks such as this that lifted the veil on US-led military operation in a variety of theatres, none of which have produced a favourable outcome from the people of those countries. Julian Assange is not being pursued to protect US national security. He is being pursued because he has exposed wrongdoing by US administrations and their military forces.
See? That's what has happened. So that footage, if you watch the whole clip of it, it's pretty graphic, and it shows there's 2 Reuters journalists. They literally have cameras, and they're like, oh, that guy's got an RPG, that guy's got an AK-47. They kill him. A van pulls up that's trying to get the bodies out of there and get people help. In the van is 2 children, and they blow that up. So that's what Chelsea Manning saw and couldn't live with anymore and said, I can't do this anymore, and gave it to WikiLeaks. She went to jail, and he basically has been a political prisoner for the last 7 years inside the Ecuadorian embassy. He was in jail. He couldn't go out and live freely the way you and I do. And enough people within it are saying this isn't right. When Danny Surgeon has exposed stuff, Mike Preisner, everybody at Veterans for Peace are like, this ain't right. And the war machine, boy, the war machine, they love this business. So here's what Tulsi Gabbard said. The arrest of Julian Assange is meant to send a message to all Americans and journalists. Be quiet, behave, toe the line, or you will pay the price. This is exactly why they're doing this to Chelsea Manning and Julian Assange. Hey, you thinking about blowing the whistle? Shut your mouth or we'll throw you in prison. That is exactly what they're saying. He hasn't put anybody, and Chelsea Manning haven't put anybody. They haven't given up targets. They didn't release the names of like undercover operatives that then later got killed by ISIS or something. No, they're showing these are the war crimes. These are the atrocities that the United States is committing. And they're using our tax dollars and they're doing it in our name. And they're saying it's for the global war on terror. They're saying it's for freedom. So I want to show you specifically, Tulsi Gabbard was on CNN. And this is, hold on a sec.
Democratic presidential candidate Tulsi Gabbard, thank you so much. Always good to see you.
Thank you, Jake.
So let me get this over here. Well, that's too big. All right. Whoops.
To talk about this and more, Democratic presidential candidate Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard of Hawaii. Congresswoman, aloha. Thanks for joining us.
Aloha, Jake. Good to see you.
So you served 2 tours of duty in the Middle East. You're currently a major in the Army National Guard. Assange, along with Chelsea Manning, spread classified information that prosecutors at Manning's trial claimed could have brought harm to U.S. service members in Iraq and Afghanistan. Do you agree with that? And what do you think about Assange's extradition and prosecution in the U.S.?
Look, over time, there hasn't been any proof that that has been brought to bore. And what we have seen is that so much of the information that's been released has informed the American people about actions that were taking place that they should be aware of. It provided transparency around issues both related to civil liberties as well as actions that our military was taking in the Middle East that they should not have been. So really, I think what's happening here is unfortunately, it is some form of retaliation coming from the government saying, hey, this is what happens when you release information that we don't want you to release. And I think that's why this is such a dangerous and slippery slope, not only for journalists, not only for those in the media, but also for every American, that our government can and has the power to kind of lay down the hammer to say, be careful, be quiet, and fall in line. Otherwise, we have the means to be able to come after you.
So you don't think that he should have been extradited, and you don't support his prosecution in the U.S.?
I think the charges about hacking, look, those can and should be worked out in the court of law. My point is that I think there's a bigger issue at play here. There's a reason why the Obama administration chose not to extradite and prosecute Assange, because they understood the danger. They understood the danger of the government coming in and controlling essentially what information is and is not being released. We can go back to the release of the Pentagon Papers as an example. We can look to how the American people have benefited from some of this information being released. So I think we've got to look at it within this larger context here and make sure that we understand what's at stake and actually the danger of what happens when we have people in government, whether it's this administration or a future administration, basically saying, "Hey, look, we can call WikiLeaks a foreign intelligence agency. We can designate an individual as a foreign asset or this or that." Simply because they don't like the information that's being published or they don't like the things that you're saying. As
you noted, he's not being charged with publishing information the government didn't like or classified information. He's being charged with an attempted hack on the U.S. government. But I want to ask about something you said in your first answer, which was that you thought that there was transparency in the documents provided by Chelsea Manning and published by WikiLeaks and Julian Assange that you thought was healthy. Can you be more specific? What's something that you think the WikiLeaks documents revealed that you think was helpful? Obviously, in 2016, you notably resigned from the DNC. You were vice chair when there were documents that were released suggesting that there were very hostile forces against Bernie Sanders within the DNC. Is that what you're talking about, or are you talking about something relating to Iraq and Afghanistan, or both?
And I'm actually talking about some of the things that were released regarding the NSA and overreach into our privacy, our Fourth Amendment rights being violated because of some of the practices of the NSA and gathering sweeping data on on all of us, on Americans across this country, whether it's about, the phone calls that we make or other things. These are things that even I, as a member of Congress, were not aware was happening until this information was released. And as a result of that, I and others in Congress have been able to take action to protect our privacy, to protect our civil liberties, and try to shut down these avenues that some of our intelligence agencies have abused and violated our constitutional Fourth Amendment rights.
So the Edward Snowden documents is more what you're referring to, I think. Yes?
Right. I mean, exactly. But this is the overarching issue that I'm talking about.
Let me ask you, because you're running for president, you just recently tweeted that 65,000 individuals have now donated to your campaign, so that would mean you would likely qualify for the Democratic debates. How much money did you raise in the first quarter, if you don't mind my asking?
We'll be releasing those numbers soon. We're gathering all of our information. I just want to say that I'm really grateful for all the support that we've gotten from folks in every state across the country who recognize the importance of having our voice on that debate stage, where I'll have the opportunity to bring up some really important issues that are not being focused on enough, in my view. The issues of why it's so important to end regime change wars, to work to end this new Cold War and nuclear arms race. Mm-hmm. Take the trillions of dollars that we're spending on these wars and on these weapons and invest it into serving the needs, the urgent needs that we, the American people, have here at home. Things like healthcare, rebuilding our crumbling infrastructure, protecting our environment, investing in education. The needs are great. We need to fix our priorities and get them straight.
The latest polls find your level of support is at or below 1%. I'm wondering why you think your message is not yet resonating. I recognize it's early, but why do you think you haven't caught on yet?
It's early. It's early. There are different polls that say different things. What we are focused on, what I'm focused on, is bringing this important message to the American people about how this changed, making this change in our foreign policy, ending regime change wars, and this nuclear arms race and new Cold War is central to every other issue that we care about, every other issue that's being raised. Unless we deal with this cost of war and investing the peace dividend that would come about by making this policy change, unless we do that, then we will not have the resources that we need to make sure that we have health care for all, to make sure that we have the funds we need to invest in our infrastructure and education, affordable housing, and so on.
Mm-hmm. All right, Democratic presidential candidate Tulsi Gabbard, thank you so much. Always good to see you.
Thank you, Jake.
So there it is, folks. I appreciate what Tulsi Gabbard has said. It was a little equivocal. She was a little like, avoid this one issue of saying he shouldn't, like she couldn't. I was bothered by the fact that she couldn't say, I think these charges are ridiculous. She said, well, let's see the full investigation. Fine. But overall, I appreciate her doing that and standing up there and saying this on CNN. Jake Tapper, he's a mouthpiece for the kleptocracy, man. So the fact that she can go out and say that this isn't right, and the main point that she made, which I really appreciate, which is what they're doing, which is saying, shut your mouths. That's why they're arresting him. And she said, this is a really dangerous thing. She kind of said it was kind of good that what Obama did, which Obama let all this shit happen. So I can't give Obama a pass on any of this, but I'm glad Tulsi Gabbard is out there and she made this point, and I'm glad Jeremy Corbyn is saying it in the UK. And more people are going to keep speaking up, and we're going to see what's going to happen. They're going to try to extradite him. They're going to try to torture him. If they could kill him and get away with it, they would and will. So If they can get Julian and Chelsea, they can get you, they can get me, they can get anybody else. They can get Lee Camp, they can get Jimmy, they can get Abby Martin, they can get anybody. They can get Caitlin Johnstone, they can get Susie Dawson, they can get anybody. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, share the videos. Go to GrahamElwood.com for all my tour dates. Political Vigilante Live, April 18th in Hollywood. And of course, support me at patreon.com/GrahamElwood. Thanks for watching.